Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this.
You still talking about Jeffrey Epstein, says the guy is still talking about his 2020 election loss? Really?
And just like that, CNN and MSNBC suddenly have an intense interest in the subject.
Mr. President, the reason people are talking about this guy is because people serving in the highest levels of your administration have been talking about this guy for years. Experts, such as our friend Julie Brown from the Miami Herald, who's been covering Epstein for years, say that the notion of Epstein having an easy-to-access client list is likely a red herring. And that's what the Trump administration is relying on, that there likely isn't a list per se. While there might not be a list, there are certainly files that can be released. There's a trove of information that the Trump administration is right now refusing to share. Information that could well point to the powerful folks who availed themselves of the sex trafficking victims of Jeffrey Epstein. If you go, for example, to the FBI vault online, you can see that there are 22 files containing thousands of pages. Most of them are heavily redacted. Brown writes that there's still more evidence that hasn't been published, including, quote, Epstein kept video cameras in most of his residences, and Epstein's autopsy, nor the report of the investigation into his death, has been made public. So while there may not be an official client list to be released, as the administration is now saying, there's a lot of extra information that is not being made public, despite Trump's Justice Department basically now saying case closed. This isn't going to go away.
And here's how Alex Jones took the news.
So now, by coming in and being part of the cover-up, the Trump administration has become part of it. I mean, it's just, you cannot see it any other way. So I just got to the office. I'm going to go throw up, actually. And this only happens every few years when something really, really bad happens or something. I mean, I'm physically going to puke probably right now.
Do you see what you've done, Pam Bondi? You have made Alex Jones cry and possibly puke. This became a huge obsession of the kind of online MAGA right. I mean, really, listen to how then podcaster Dan Bonino spoke about this earlier this year before joining the Trump DOJ.
This isn't about Epstein or 9/11 or JFK or RFK. It is, but it isn't. It's about a bigger thing. If you're lying about that, you're lying about everything. Who's on the Epstein tapes, folks? Who's on those tapes? Who's in those black books? Why have they been hiding it?
Here's then Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance in October 2024.
Everybody in politics has a vice that's much worse than alcoholism, is the way that I put it. But we
release the list.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
Trump made part of this his platform. Here he is during the 2024 campaign.
Would you declassify the Epstein Files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
This is honestly one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my entire life. And I just think it's very dangerous to play around with this stuff. Like, very dangerous.
Well,
I don't want a revolution, but if you wanted a revolution, this is how you would act.
They so thoroughly convinced large segments of the MAGA base that the government was hiding something on Epstein, that those same MAGA voters are now refusing to accept anything else. What a ridiculous topic of conversation that we are having. Isn't this ridiculous?
It's absurd, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's not absurd to MAGA.
Does it fracture the support enough to hurt the party, hurt Donald Trump, hurt the next version?
I mean, it might hurt the next version, but as far as hurting Donald Trump, the one thing we know about MAGA is they will fight and fight and fight, and all the squabbles end when Trump speaks.
And here's some of what was said on Fox News.
I think this was the biggest fumble when it came down to Epstein, and the more they answer like that, the more attention you're going to draw to. People are going to ask, why are they so nervous about this? What do you know that the rest of us don't know?
This memo on a Sunday night, which was very curt, it felt very perfunctory, doesn't address a lot of the outstanding questions. Like, for example, I said, where did all the money come from? Why is it that there were so many levels of failure within the DOJ previously? Again, previously, before we even talked about the second Trump administration, there needs to be more explanation. There needs to be more sharing of information. And the idea that after what we saw from Attorney General Bondi, it would be enough to just say, case closed. Sorry, we looked at everything, which is effectively what that memo says. That's just not going to cut it.